trial. Jury selection kicking off today. As many as 150 potential jurors taking the stand to be questioned by the judge and the prosecutors and the defense team. And the questions they were asking today on, whether these people had heard about the allegations against Sean Combs, whether they'd seen that video that appeared to show him assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie, and even whether they'd personally been exposed to domestic violence in their life. Now, Diddy is facing 5 federal charges. Those include sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. He's pleaded not guilty to all of them and rejected a plea deal that was presented last week. So let's bring in our NewsNation legal contributor, Jesse Weber, on this. He's also an anchor at the Law and Crime Network. Jesse, as always, good to see you. So you were not invited to the Met Gala again this year, so you were able to join us.
Well, now I know why you're not there. I couldn't figure it out why
right.
Connell McShane wasn't there, and now I see it. It's this antipathy that you have towards it. Now I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's stupid. But everyone in the control room loves it, so they're like, oh, we're doing the Met Gala. Fine, we're doing the Met Gala. So the Diddy stuff today, let's talk about this a little bit. There's a couple of different ways to talk. Like, for example, earlier, I'll put this back up. Mark Agnifilo is one of his attorneys. Will they accept some of these premises being the jurors by the defense? So Agnifilo said that Diddy has a quote-unquote swinger lifestyle. And from the court hearing notes, they said there's a lifestyle called swingers that he was in that he thought was appropriate. The reason he thought it was appropriate is because it's so common to see the charges there. Is it? I mean, like, so you're a jury, you're coming in and they're telling you that, and is it going to be tough to pick people who think that that's kind of common?
I thought it was going to be impossible for this to go to trial within a year of his arrest and indictment, but here we are. Now, they're very confident they can get a jury, a fair and impartial jury, out of 150 prospective jurors within a week. Now, based on the questioning today, just because somebody had seen that video that was circulated of Sean Combs purportedly beating Cassandra Ventura, just because they know some of the celebrities in this case, just because they've seen an HBO documentary about it, doesn't mean they're automatically excluded from the jury. And remember what's happening here.
Right.
So the first few days of jury selection is just about whether these jurors are going to be excused for cause. There's a legitimate reason. After that, both the defense and the prosecution, they have very specific challenges where they can strike jurors for whatever reason they want. And so that's how you whittle it down. And the hope is that by the defense is they will believe that they can get jurors who will move towards the consent defense, right? That all of these people who are going to testify against Sean Combs, they consented to everything that was a part of this case. And by all accounts, consent can be a legitimate defense to the racketeering and sex trafficking charges, although it may be a little bit of an uphill battle.
Okay, so what types of questions were they asking? Well, I think we have some examples, like, do you have knowledge of sexual assault or domestic violence, psychiatry, psychology, security, addiction, or law enforcement? Do you have beliefs, or do you have concerns about the hiring of sexual workers, infidelity, firearms, illegal drugs, and so on? So and I thought it was interesting. You say here, do you have beliefs or views that would not allow you to be impartial about law enforcement, about hip-hop artists, about sexual assault, about sex trafficking? And one final one, have you been through a traumatic event yourself that would allow you to hear about witnesses who've been through traumatic events? So, it's interesting. A lot of people say, well, some people had examples, and some people were taken out of the pool. And then to your point about HBO, that was a good example today, because there's someone who worked there, and they did make a documentary, but that person, as far as I know, was not kicked out of the pool. I guess they didn't work directly on the dock, so it's interesting.
Correct. And they might be later down the road by the defense or the prosecution. But there was a potential juror today who apparently was going to produce one of the memoirs from Albie Shore, who has been ancillary connected to Diddy in a way as well. And you're seeing people who have these connections to either anybody who's a part of this case. But I have to tell you, Connell, the level of honesty that we've seen from these prospective jurors talking about their own experiences with sexual assault or family members that were sexually assaulted. You had a juror today who actually admitted they stole a wand from the Harry Potter store in Universal Studios. So the idea of them being honest about their lives is not easy. And sometimes there needed to be safeguards put in place by the judge because these are very private, sensitive issues, but it's important to get a full understanding of who these jurors are, 12 jurors, 6 alternates, because they're going to have a monumental task ahead of them. It's not only difficult, an 8-week trial, but this is a complicated case. Not easy sitting on this jury.
Racketeering. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.